In my experience, what I've learned is that there are four main reasons and four main bits of value that come out of a network. And they all develop around the relationships that you build. Remember this, that the value of networking occurs in the shadows, not in the open glare of the 1 minute or 10-minute presentations. Now, for most of us, we turn up for leads, but there's also education that we can get from our network. There's support that we can get from these referral communities, and we can also get intelligence. Now, one of the things that I learned some time ago was that it made a great deal of sense to start developing a handful of close personal relationships where you have credibility, where there is reliability, where there is intimacy between you and your referral partners, and that your focus is on them rather than your own self-interest. And what that does is that builds trust. Now, one of the biggest challenges that we have is that most of these organizations are quite prescriptive in terms of how they expect you to behave. Now, you can make your own rules up, but there are some simple guidelines. The first one is if you're going to set up a referral community, refer or introduce people and invite people to join who you already know. Make it a condition of them joining that they bring somebody along who they already know as well. Now, also make a point of being clear that you don't want competitors treading over each other's toes. You don't want the pressure of people trying to sell at the network. The objective is to be there to support and help one another, to grow each other's businesses. Now, for these communities to work, you actually genuinely have to care about and like the other person enough to want to open up your black book of very close personal contacts and make those introductions. It also makes a great deal of sense if you're going to set up a referral community to put in place a system for you to be able to educate one another on how to make good referrals. I'll cover that in another session, but the principles of that are, first of all, understand what their business is about. Understand what the characteristics of a good referral look like. What alternatives might they have to spending money with you? So, for example, in my world, they might do in-house training instead of bringing me in. They may use an external competitor. They may try and get a manager in. They may try and recruit their way out of a problem. They may try and bribe their salespeople with an outrageous commission plan. But if these things don't work, then it tells me that there's an opportunity to go and sell what I have. Also, make a point of when you're running these meetings, have an agenda. Don't be a wandering generality, be a meaningful specific. When you're running these meetings, make a point of encouraging people to stick to the agenda. If they're doing their 1 minute, have a structure. We'll talk about a 30-second commercial in another session. We'll talk about how to structure your 30-second commercial so you engage. But above all else, make sure that these people are meeting one another. I stress again, the real value of networking is where it happens in the shadows. It's not going to be in the glare of the public spotlight of your 1 minute, or if you're doing a 10-minute slot there. It's going to be in the one-to-ones where you develop credibility, where you start to understand one another. You create an environment of intimacy where I understand you and you understand me.